We work so you can play. MiniWargamer Dave here from MiniWarGaming.com. Welcome Wargamers to the terrain making room. That's right. Today we're going to make an Imperial Guard Field Command building. I'm going to show you a picture that I drew from a video game that we know. Take a look at this. That, my friends, is the Field Command. I will translate that into polystyrene and foam board. The materials you will be needing for this project are as follows. Polystyrene. I think I already mentioned that. It doesn't really matter the thickness, it doesn't really matter the cell size. All it matters is that it's polystyrene, or styrofoam. Man, it feels good to be back in the terrain making room. I got a piece here, and I'm not going to give you exact measurements for all these little things. It doesn't really matter. The other crucial ingredient is foam board, or foam core. Now, I have some good news. We've actually started to stock a foam board on the online MiniWarGaming store. So that makes it a lot easier for anyone who wants to participate in making terrain pieces and not have to search their whole town for a piece of foam board. The paper actually has a plastic sheath, or clay is what they call it, which makes it resistant to water. Pretty cool, I'd say. Another piece of foam board that you can get is 11 by 14. These are a little bit bigger. For this terrain project, I will only be needing one 8.5 by 11 piece, but we'll see exactly in the making of it. Gonna need a pencil, stick it in your ear, gonna need your ruler, white PVA glue. The other thing that you will need is sand. This is quite important. This is fine sand or playground sand. If you happen to live near sand, just get sand off the ground. If not, go to your local hardware supply store. Your trusty X-Acto blade, very good thing to have, especially cutting through the foam board. And the last and crucial ingredient for this project, and for all future projects, it's important that you have a friend to keep you company. Wouldn't you say? Let's get to it.
But before we start anything, it's vitally important that we have a little snack. Good old Mike and Ike's. I have here an MDF board that I've cut, and what I'm going to do is place the terrain piece on top of this MDF board. I use MDF board. You'll have to excuse me, I'm still chewing Mike and Ike's. It's solid, and the chances of it warping are really slim, because as you can see, it's hard to even just bend it like this. It's pretty solid. So anything that you put on top of it over time, even glue and such, won't warp it. More Mike makes. So as you can see, this whole structure in here is one long rectangular piece, just like that. What I plan on doing is creating this first, and then creating these two wings, gluing it all together, using this foam board to use for this cap with the eagle skull emblem on top, and all these different embellishments with the little posts, just to give it more variety. First order of business is to glue this in place, and then create those other winged structures that glue into that. And so I think I'm going to do that by shaving that off like a triangle at the end and having two more pieces stick into it. I'm going to go over to the foam cutting table to do that. Okay, so we have something that looks like this. So the next step is to trim off these corners so I can put these posts to add some embellishment to my structure. The next step here is to glue it all onto the MDF board with your white PVA glue. Now it's time to use the foam board and cut out embellishments that will be going on these corners and back here a little bit. And we just glue them on. Glue them on like this. So I'm making some smaller embellishments that I'm going to be adding. I'm going to glue these onto there just to make it a little bit more interesting looking.
Okay, so this is what we've got so far. Now I've changed this up a little bit from what we've got right here. And I've done it purposely just to match what we have in terms of our raw materials that we're able to use. You can draw a basic image of what you think it's going to look like, and it might be slightly different, and that's totally okay. Next thing I'm going to do is put more embellishments on. This is going to go on top of here, and the eagle emblem will be painted on afterwards. These little embellishments here, I'm going to glue those on. And I got this piece, I got the sprue here from a rhino, and I was thinking of putting it on the back there just to give it a little bit more of an interesting look as well. There's a couple more embellishments here. I find with using the foam board, there's really no end to the amount of detail you can add to your buildings. And I've grabbed some of these, got these off of the Bastion, Imperial Bastion kits. Some extra sprues, and I'm going to be gluing these onto the front here, just to add a little bit more detail. Okay, now that those are glued on there, the next step is just to let this sit and dry